Happy New Year. And with the new year comes Vinyl Tag 2024, my first Vinyl Tag. I'm Chris. This is Late Night Dead Wax. So yeah, this is my first Vinyl Tag. I've been looking forward to this all year. Only started this channel this year, so I missed it last year, but I've been watching them for years. They're awesome, and big thanks to Rob Walker for putting this together every year, and just awesome stuff. So I'm going to do the 20 questions. Favorite record you purchased in 2023? This one was actually a gift, but it is the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack. This has been high on my want list for a very long time, and my wife got it for me for Thanksgiving. It's super cool too. Sounds amazing. Obviously, it was something I was really excited about this year. So next up, last record you bought in 2023. I actually bought two at the same time. It was at a thrift store, and they were $1.99, but the day I bought them, they were half off. So I got them each for $1. Olivia Newton-John's Greatest Hits Volume 2. This really sounds good. It's a really good sounding record, especially for Greatest Hits. And I have Volume 1 and Volume 2 now, so I think I have all the Olivia Newton-John I personally need. But really good stuff. Really sounds good, especially for $1. Next up is Sinatra's Sinatra. It's a collection of a bunch of his favorites. Once again, $1. And you can't go wrong with Frank Sinatra. Every time I see one for $1, I'm probably going to grab it, especially when it's in this good a condition. Band or singer who released 2 or more albums in 1 year. I think all the good ones are taken. Not that this isn't a good one, but obviously, especially back in the 60s, it was quite common. But last year, actually a favorite of mine, Jack White, dropped 2 records. The Fear of the Dawn and Entering Heaven Alive. Both excellent records. And, pressed at Third Man, so, they super cool stuff. Sound great. This one's just black. If you could only listen to music from one decade, which decade would you choose? Well, that one's kind of an easy one for me. Child of the 80s. I got to go 80s. We got the birth of MTV and music videos, and spent a lot of time in front of the TV and listening to music, and there was a lot of good stuff in the 80s. And I miss a lot of stuff outside of the 80s, but I think I could live with just one decade. It would have to be the 80s. Show a record by a band or singer from Manchester. I went with Joy Division. It's the greater Manchester area, so I'm calling close enough. But Unknown Pleasures, it's just such an epic album, and it stands the test of time too. Sounds great today. Which band or singer did you listen to the most in 2023? Well, according to Spotify and what stays in heavy rotation record-wise, I listened to a lot of Elvis. Not that Elvis. Elvis Costello. I recently really dove deep into his catalog, and I like everything I hear, and it's just such fun stuff to put on and just kind of let go, and 3-minute songs, fun, just really cool stuff. This is actually a copy of this year's model. It's the U.S. press, because he was on the other side of the camera, or out from behind the camera in the U.K. press. I think that's the only difference, but that's mine. Show 7 7-inch records. I have a lot of 7-inch records, but they're mostly all in my jukebox. So I just grabbed a few that I had handy, and I have U2, Angel of Harlem, Tommy Tutone, Jenny. I mean, that's an 80s classic. Another 80s classic, Africa by Toto. And Eddie Money, I want to go back. It's funny because I actually heard this in our record store today and remembered, wait, I have that 45 somewhere. So that's how it ended up here. And the last one is Ghost, the 7 inches of Satanic Panic, the really cool 7-inch they put out last year. And it's got Kiss the Goat and Kiss the Go-Goat and Mary on a Cross. Super cool 45s. Who's coming to your party? Choose 4 music-related people to come to an imaginary dinner party. Past, present, who would you invite? Well, this one's an easy one for me. If I'm getting 4 guests, well, I got to go with the Fab Four then. John, Paul, Ringo, and George. I couldn't imagine a better time than being in a room with those 4. Huge Beatles fan, grew up on the Beatles, and I mean, if you would have given me 5, I don't know if I would have went this way, but definitely the Beatles. We lost them. Choose one musician who passed away in 2023. I'm a big fan of the old crooners, and Tony Bennett luckily stuck around a little bit longer than the rest of them, and unfortunately we lost him last year, but some great music, even all the way up to the stuff that he just did, the records with Lady Gaga, just an amazing voice, an amazing talent, and this is a promo copy of I've Gotta Be Me. I picked this one up at a thrift store. I think it was $2. You can find gold there still. Imagine you could only listen to music from one country. Which country would you choose? Well, I just got done bragging about how big of a Beatles fan I am, but I'm going to say the USA. The 80s music that I grew up on mostly was from here, and big metalhead, so the rise of hard rock and heavy metal and then hair metal and all of that stuff, I just love it, and almost all of it came from here. I mean, obviously Sabbath, Maiden, Priest, they're England, but we had LA, and I would definitely say the USA. That's not to discount all the other stuff that we have too, like the wonderful jazz stuff, the just incredible R&B and soul and Detroit sound, and the list goes on and on. I mean, Seattle with the whole grunge movement, it was all us, and us here in the USA. So I'm going to go with the USA. Name 3 vinyl community channels you discovered in 2023. So my first one is Angel's Vinyl Planet. Really cool guy. We share a lot of musical tastes, so I always check out his videos. His vinyl finds are pretty cool, and usually I end up being pretty jealous by the end. He's got great taste in music, and I will link all these down below. Kale's here. It's a younger kid. I think he's early teens, but has an absolutely crazy wealth of knowledge. And his Beatles video for the White Album was epic. The kid's an old soul, and he's very knowledgeable and very entertaining too. You should definitely check him out. And the K&B Music Den, 2 fun guys talking music, and they kind of hooked me in this year because they did a review of an old album by Suddenly Tammy, and they're from the area too, so I've been hooked, and they do some pretty cool stuff. But if I'm naming community channels, I have to say that one of my favorites, although I didn't discover him this year, it was actually last year, but Robert Fitton. I don't know if there's anybody funnier on in the VC. I absolutely love his videos, and I even do some of my videos in front of my jukebox as an homage to him. I'm not trying to rip him off. It looks cool when he stands at his jukebox, so I did a few videos basically as a thank you. All right, show a record you bought when you were a teenager. My favorite album of all time, Nine Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine. I know I'm cutting this one close because I think I was 19, but that's still a teenager, so it counts. And this is an original U.S. pressing I bought then. So this is the record I bought as a teenager. A lot of the ones I had from when I was a kid and when I was a teenager didn't make it to this collection, but this one did. This one and all of my Nine Inch Nails. I love this record. Like I said, it's my favorite record of all time, and that's my teenage record. On to page 2. Show a funk or soul record. Well, of course, I went with Funkadelic Maggot Brain. This is the funkiest record in my collection, and it is a work of genius. If you like funk, this is about as funky as it gets. Show a record you think everyone has, then show a record you think nobody has. Well, this was an easy one for me. And I know a lot of other videos I've watched have used this one, but rumors. Not only is this in almost everybody's collection, it should be. If it's not, you got to go get it. It is a great record, and I'd say right now, I think I have 5 copies in just my house. It's still relatively cheap. This is the 45 RPM 2-record version, which sounds incredible. But even the standard ones from the 70s and represses from the 80s, all the way up to, I have one of the clear Walmart exclusives, picked up at a yard sale for $5, and it sounds good. Doesn't sound as good as this, but yeah, good stuff. That's why it's in everybody's collection. The one that I don't think's in a lot of people's collection, and this is kind of a strange one, Il Shuggy Warp Haze. This is on a label called Cold Busted. I went to a record store in Red Lion, Pennsylvania, and Tom's Music Trade, and Tom's awesome dude, and I'm just perusing through the records, and just really, really strange stuff is playing. Whatever he was spinning was really cool and weird, and I like cool and weird. So I turned around and I'm like, Tom, what is this? And he's like, oh, this is from this label Cold Busted. I heard one of their records, and I ordered in as many as I could get. So I bought one, and it's really cool. It's listed as hip hop instrumental. Sure, it's out there and a lot of fun, and I do spin this a lot more than I thought I ever would. But it is a good record, and as of making this video, only 37 other people had it listed in their Discogs. So, I'm sure there's people out there with it, but well, there's 36 of them anyway that have logged in Discogs. She's Great, a record by a female artist you bought in 2023. I bought a lot of female artists in 2023. The one that sticks with me the most is probably because it was fairly recent and it's awesome. Norah Jones, Playing Along. This is all of the performances, well, not all of them, but the performances from basically her first season of her podcast Playing Along with Norah Jones. And I was listening to the podcast, and some of these songs she's just such a talented artist, and she surrounds herself with talented artists. I love this record. It was a Record Store Day Black Friday release. I didn't think this was ever going to get made, and I'm glad it did, and I'm glad I grabbed a copy. And if you're into Norah Jones, this is a lot of fun, because some of this stuff is kind of out of her comfort zone, but she just kills it. The favorite video you posted on your channel in 2023 and the favorite video you watched in the VC in 2023. My favorite for me was my 1987 video. That was a lot of fun making because it was just like trip down memory lane, seeing old friends. You know, some of these records just took me right back, and that was a lot of fun to make. And it was also my longest video, which I guess I got to rambling because it is. I mean, you find a record and maybe you haven't heard it in a little longer than you would have liked. It's truly like bumping into an old friend. And my favorite video from someone else in the VC, Vinyl Monday. She did a epic 2.5 hour MC5 video. And I, you know, honestly, outside of the kick out the jams, I didn't really know much about MC5, and it just never were really on my radar. And I was riveted. I mean, she told her whole story, and it was awesome. And she does great videos all around. And definitely my favorite video. 2.5 hours. I mean, it was practically a movie, but it was good stuff. You should definitely check it out. All right, show me a record you'd describe as a 90s classic. This is one I really dig. The Refreshments. Fizzy, Fuzzy, Big and Buzzy. A lot of people remember the Refreshments from the song Banditos. Was a big 90s hit, alternative rock radio. It was an awesome song. And they also did the theme to King of the Hill. Awesome band. If you can get a chance to check them out, check them out. There was something with their label, and they kind of I guess they had to change their name. But this record is a classic for me from the 90s. I really dig it, and you know I like a lot of 90s music too. So this says a lot that that one's my favorite. If you could walk onto the cover, look through your collection, and choose a record you'd like to be a part of. Man, there's so many cool ones, and I think for me the most fun, Anthrax. I'm the Man. I mean, this is just awesome, and Anthrax just of the big four thrash bands, nobody had fun like Anthrax, and they were, as a kid, they were my favorite and of the big four thrash bands. But yeah, I really dig this, and I'd love to be a part of this goofy cover. I mean, they're all having fun. It's like a greatest hits. Show a record you're so familiar with, it feels like a greatest hits. This was an easy one for me. When I read that, I knew right away which one I was going to go with, and it's Rancid and Out Come the Wolves. This was my introduction to new punk rock, and there's some songs on here that got radio play that, you know, that kind of borderlined the pop punk thing, but they are not pop punk. They are a lot of fun and super well produced, and just this is like a masterpiece to me. This might be a 10 out of 10 for me. I really dig this record. Every single song on it's good. It's obviously a reissue, but good stuff, and not expensive. Like, well, I paid $22 for my copy of A Day in a Life, but great record. And the last one, show me an album that was released in 1974. There's that metalhead in me again. I went Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath by Black Sabbath. Great record. It was, I mean, the cover alone was pretty groundbreaking at the time, and just helped to continue the lore of Black Sabbath being Black Sabbath. Great record. And man, there were a lot of great records that are turning 50 this year. This was my pick, and that does it. That's it for my first vinyl tag. And boy, this is a lot of fun. I had really been looking forward to this from when I started my channel. Every year getting to watch everybody else do it, and I never thought I'd have a channel, and well, now I do, and I couldn't wait till this came around again. So big thanks to Rob Walker and everyone else in the VC. This is it's a lot of fun to be a part of this community, and I learned so much from so many different people, from so many different walks of life, from so many genre specific fans, and it just, I'm going to link those the four, because I mentioned Robert Fitton, but I think most of you know who that is. But I'm going to link them all in the show notes below, because you should check these guys out. Good stuff, a lot of fun, and well, that does it for me. See you next time. Fun fact, totally unintentional. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Anthrax does a cover of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath on the record cover. I wanted to walk on to.